Well, there's no doubt about it. Communication is by far the hardest element of our relationship. Even a happy, healthy relationship, even a happy, healthy marriage has problems with communication. How do I know? Well, it's because we surveyed over 17,000 happy black couples who've been married over 10 years, mostly over 20 years. And we found that the number one thing they want to know about was communication in conflict. I'm Daniel DiPiazza, and I'm a co-founder at Strength of Seduction. Our entire organization is devoted to happy, healthy, prosperous black families, marriages that last, families that last, and bringing the fun and the intimacy back into the relationship. Now, when we surveyed these couples, we asked them for the single most important thing in the relationship, what they consider to be the single most important element of the relationship, and what they consider to be the greatest assets of the relationship. And it really was a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, we found that communication was seen as the biggest obstacle at times, especially communication in conflict. But on the other hand, we saw that communication was often viewed as the number one asset to a healthy and happy relationship. So this is where the rubber meets the road. Now, when you are in a relationship, you are going to run into misunderstandings. You're going to run into two different viewpoints, because you're two different people coming together trying to share one world. And how do we navigate the fact that we're not always going to see eye to eye? Well, I think the first thing is, one, acknowledging that it's not possible to see eye to eye in all things at all times. And just realizing that, having some sort of strategy for navigating through those inevitable challenges when they do arise. Now, we're not the first people to do research on these things. In fact, the Gottmans have a fantastic idea around navigating through conflict, navigating through tense conversations, navigating through difficult or challenging interactions with each other. And the simple concept is just taking a pause, taking a break. If you're finding that you're having a tense argument, you're finding that you're having a conversation that is getting heated and it's gradually getting hotter and hotter and hotter, one thing that you can do is, in the middle of this conversation, you can say, you know what? Let's take a break. Let's pause. Let's come back to this when we're feeling more collected, when we're feeling a little bit more even, when we're back at center. Because what we're looking to do in a conflict is not to win. We're not looking to win the battle. We're not looking to win the argument. We're looking to resolve something and come to a mutual understanding. But oftentimes what happens is, in a conflict, in a heated conversation, we will then start to devolve the conversation away from the actual context of what we're talking about, and we'll start to go into personal attacks. We'll start to bring up ancient history from the past. We'll start to bring in things that aren't even related to the issue at hand, just to try to win the argument, because we're looking for any vector of attack to try to slip through the cracks and to try to feel like we have outsmarted, outmaneuvered, outlogicked our opponent. But here's the thing. Your spouse is not your opponent. You guys are co-creating something together. You're co-creating a family, you're co-creating a life, you're co-creating what should be a happy and healthy relationship. And to do that, we can't be attacking each other. So when you're finding yourself in the heat of an argument, one of you has to be able to take a pause and say, you know what? Let's come back to this when we're both feeling a little bit more ready to deal with it. And by having this agreement in place beforehand, by knowing that when you guys come to a conflict, you're going to allow each other the space to let it cool down before it devolves into personal attacks, you can feel confident that if you do come to a place where you're feeling like you're butting heads, like you're not able to agree, like it's really challenging to see eye to eye, you can back off before things become irreparable. You don't want to get into an argument about something and then start saying things, hurling insults, attacking each other, and creating more of an issue from the original argument than was intended when you're looking to just solve a problem in the first place. So that is the best way to approach these tense conversations, these potentially these confrontational moments in our relationship. And they don't have to be confrontational. Take a pause. Agree that in these types of situations, you'll take a pause and come back to it when you're feeling fresh, when you're feeling balanced, when you're feeling a little bit more ready to look at each other with love and respect. And find the mutual agreement, which is what we were looking for in the first place. It's not always easy. Certainly not saying it's easy. but it is pretty simple, and you can come to this agreement beforehand. So if you like this, make sure that you subscribe on whatever channel you're watching or listening to this on. It could be on the YouTube channel that you're watching this. It could be on the podcast. Make sure that you're dialed in and checked into strengthofseduction.com, where we're putting out new resources for Black families to love each other, to become more intimate, to become healthier and happier, and bring on the next generation of happy, healthy people. That's it. Talk to you later. I'm Daniel DiPiazza. Peace.